In countries like Sri Lanka, there are still small villages that are not very developed. In recent times, incidents reported from such villages have become popular in Sri Lanka. This story is also a true incident reported from such a village, but this video does not contain the real names of anyone who faced this incident. As mentioned earlier, this incident happened in a remote village. In this village, there was an abandoned house that had been abandoned for 30 years. The current owner of this house has been trying to rent or sell this house for some time. But the owner of this house said that no one who comes to this house stays in this house for more than 2 days. The owner said that when the people who come to live in this house go back, they leave this house without even taking the advance money that they have given. A woman who was in charge of cleaning this house reported an incident she experienced in this house. One day, while this woman was sweeping the yard of the house, a window that she had closed well was broken without any effort. Looking inside the house through this window, she saw a woman in a white dress with blood smeared on her face, looking at her. But because she didn't see the scene properly, she didn't care much about it. Another day, when this woman came to the front of the house from sweeping the yard behind the house, another woman from the same village, whom she knew well, was standing in the front yard with a frightened face. When the woman who was in charge of cleaning this house was asked why she was upset, she said that a few minutes ago, a woman in a white dress had been talking to her and suddenly disappeared, and she has said that her name is Teresa. Teresa is the woman who died in this house 30 years ago. But only 2 people from this village knew about this incident at that time. It is only the current owner of this house and the woman who was in charge of cleaning the yard of this house. Later, when the other woman asked the woman who was in charge of cleaning the house who was Teresa, the woman who was in charge of cleaning the house grabbed the woman's hand and ran away. Somehow, one day, a person expressed his interest to rent this house. The next day, this person visited this house with his wife. The owner of the house had shown them this house, and they have also expressed their desire to rent this house. And they have also expressed their desire to rent this house, to live in this house later. The brother of the person who wanted to rent this house has arrived. But at this time, there was no electricity in this house. And even though the owner of the house had informed the person who came to rent the house, he said that he forgot to inform his brother about it. It was evening when he arrived at this house, and therefore without electricity, or he spent the night in that house. Many years have passed since this incident, but he still remembers what happened that night very well. As he says that night when he was sleeping, he felt that someone else was sleeping in his bed. After a while, he felt the sleeping person behind him get out of bed, so he looked away. Then, behind him, a woman in a white dress, with blood smeared on her face, was swinging in the rocking chair behind him, looking at him. He could not remember anything that had happened since then, and when the owner of this house came home the next day, he was lying on a nearby chair. Although we tried to find out about the incidents of other people who had rented and lived in this house before, some of them are not alive now. There are some people who are still alive who don't even want to talk about it. Analyzing this incident made one thing clear to me, that is, whether we believe it or not, there are some forces do not fall under our standards. And those forces are looking for an opportunity to fulfill their unfulfilled desires. We asked some people about who is Teresa and what happened to Teresa, but none of them wanted to speak a single word about it.